In the nonprofit space, you probably need to get a lot done with a little. You're listening to Hacks for Good with nonprofit technology nerd Taylor Shanklin.
We're all hustling at nonprofits, at startups.
T. Shank is going to break it down for you.
It's a grind, right? You've got to do a lot with a little.
Giving you tips and tricks to grow your mission.
I'm going to be sharing my toolkit.
And use the latest and greatest tools available to growth hack your cause.
Hey guys, it's Taylor, aka T Shank here today in the Kimby office. I am Taylor Shanklin, Senior Manager of Product Marketing at Kimbia. And today I've got my Minnie Mouse coffee mug and I'm ready to go, and it'll make sense in a little bit why I'm talking about my Minnie Mouse coffee mug today. But I want to talk about user experience as one of the first videos in the Hacks for Good series, because I think user experience is so incredibly important right now and important for nonprofits to be thinking about. And user experience comes in a variety of ways, and it's going to be a theme throughout Hacks for Good. It's going to be a theme throughout season 1 and the videos that I've got coming to you here. So I want to talk about user experience and why it's so important and why you should be thinking about it and why you should be focusing on it and why you should be investing and putting energy toward a good user experience for your donors, for your event participants, for anyone who comes to your website, for anyone who picks up the phone and, here's on the other line someone asking for a donation to your organization. Let's talk about user experience. Let's make sure you've got some tips and tricks for thinking about good user experience. All right, so let's get my screen share going here. Okay, so when we think about user experience, what I want to first address is kind of what sometimes tends to be an elephant in the room when you work at a nonprofit organization and you're thinking about adopting technology. We're spending money on software, spending money on infrastructure. There's some major changes going on in our world today when it comes to technology and when it comes to the adoption of technology, and therefore when it comes to user experience. So what I want to do is I want to start to wipe away the fears to adopt. I don't want you guys to be scared anymore. That's part of why I'm doing Growth Hacks for Good, because I want technology and adoption and innovation to not be scary. I want it to be something that you hold like your warm coffee mug in the morning. You hold and you got it and you get it. So that's what I want to talk about. So some of these technology shifts that are happening that you need to be thinking about are the fact that ease of use and user experience is becoming more accessible to everyone. It's becoming easier to build a website. It's becoming easier to have a nice looking mobile responsive donation form. It's becoming easier to manage your email list and your marketing automation. There's so many different ways in which technology is making a user experience either for you and your day-to-day tasks and getting stuff done, and also in terms of the donor experience that your donors have with you. Connectivity is changing, and it's just going insane right now. Everything's connected. Everyone's connected all the time. There's all these capabilities to zap things together. And so that's part of the whole user experience, making sure people are getting the right messages at the right time because your systems are talking to each other, and also making sure you're connected at your organization with what you're doing and how your workflow is. There's also all these new tools available that are getting less and less expensive and easier to adopt that help you gather meaning from data. So not just looking at the data in this big overwhelming format, but actually taking that data, putting it into charts, graphs, things that actually mean something and actually tell you something about your donors and how people are engaging with you. So let's talk about Disney. I've got my mini mug, and let's talk about Disney and the user experience. I took my kids to Disneyland this summer for the first time, and it was $100 a person per day. It was not cheap. So we did a minimum of 2 days there. And I mean, I remember going to Disney as a kid, always have fond memories of Disney. Everyone loves Disney, right? What Disney has right is they have got an amazing user experience on all ends. Their user experience is so good. When you walk through that door, when you walk through that gate, you are in a totally different place. Everything about the user experience is good just about the whole time you're there. It's so good, people pay $100 a person to go for a day. Some families I know take a family of 5 and they go for 5 days in a row. So the user experience is so good that people are willing to pay money for that magical user experience. But what we're dealing with today is, and when you're thinking about your nonprofit and what kind of user experience you want to create for your donors and supporters and potential donors, is we're living in this world today where like our attention spans are like a grasshopper. I mean, they're just nothing. We are constantly pulled in lots of different directions. It's so hard to get attention today, right? And that's why user experience is so important. One of my influencers that I really like to listen to is Gary Vaynerchuk, and he runs the Gary Vee show. He talks about how he day trades attention and how he is always working on attention arbitrage. I think that's so true, and it's so applicable to even nonprofits. And while it might sound cynical, because you might be sitting there thinking, yeah, but I work at a nonprofit, don't people just want to give to good? You're still competing with every other for-profit brand out there. You're competing with what people are eating for dinner, what people are going out and having for brunch on Sunday. So when you're sending out messages on social media, on email, you're competing for attention just like everyone else. And that's why user experience is so good, because you have that one time to make a first impression, right? When you get someone's attention, if the user experience is good, they'll get it, they'll click. They might go want to learn more. But if the user experience is no good, they're just going to walk away and they're going to go back to whatever they were doing. So that's why I think user experience is so vital to be thinking about. Now, we are in the age of ease, right? Because our attention spans are so terrible now, because we have so many things pulling on us all the time, we're having to make things easier. And technology is making it easier to make things easier, right? What I love about this picture here of the Disney wristband is that Disneyland already has, Disney World, Disneyland, whichever one of the Disney parks you go to, they already have a magical experience. People already pay $100 a day. I think now it actually went up recently, to get into the park per person, right? But they've now added in these things like the fast passes, the wristbands that make it even easier to not wait in line, to schedule your rides. And people will pay even more money to get the fast pass, to get the wristband, because they don't want to wait. People just don't want to wait. They want fast. They want easy. And if you don't give that to them, they're going to move on. They're going to go to brunch. They're going to do something else on Instagram or Facebook, and they're not going to be thinking about you. And so that is why making things as easy as possible, making things magical in terms of the user experience, and connecting the mission, the magic of your mission to what you're doing, and tying that into the user experience in terms of the technology experience, in terms of just the conversation and the engagement, is so crucial. And that's why I want to talk about it on Hacks for Good, because before we even get into technology hacks and tools to use, we've got to talk about this topic of user experience, and you've got to be thinking about how you can improve your user experience, or even just evaluate your user experience. Do you have a good one? Is it working? Because if it is, don't change it, right? But take a step back, look at the user experience, walk through your online donation form yourself, give a donation to your organization yourself, and see if you like it. Ask your friends, ask your family to do it. See if they run into any trouble, because ease is so important. There's this whole thing happening too with the way that people are starting to communicate on different devices now. And this creates something that I'm going to call the user experience funnel. There's an increase in visual communication. There's a shift from desktop to mobile. And what happens in this is now people are discovering things that they maybe never would discover on their desktop, or they maybe never would discover in some other way. Because people are so mobile now, and because they constantly have this little phone in their pocket, they have this spare time to discover things. And when that happens, they could discover you, they could discover your organization. So if you've got a good online mobile experience, use that to be found, to be discovered. You know, when I'm picking up a kid from karate class or something like that, I've got, you know, that time in the car where just 5 minutes, I might be reading something, I might say, oh, that looks interesting, and click on it and go read some more. And that's how the user experience funnel comes into play now. It's an opportunity for you to make a first impression, but it's also an opportunity to make it or break it. You've got to have a good one. We are going to get into this topic a lot more in depth on Hacks for Good. I'm going to be sharing tools and ideas to make sure that you do have a good user experience, but I wanted to just talk about the theory of user experience first, theory of the changes in technology and our changing landscape, and how that is affecting nonprofit organizations and how you're competing for attention, and why user experience is just so important right now. Thank you for tuning in today to this video. I hope you liked it. If you like it, please share it out with someone you know who you think might like it. If you didn't like it, let me know what you didn't like about it. I want to hear from you, or just move on with your day. That's cool too. So anyhow, peace out. See you next time. All right, later, guys.
We really appreciate you tuning in to Hacks for Good. We hope you got some nuggets you can take back to your nonprofit to accelerate growth, or just get your job done faster. Subscribe for regular updates at hacksforgood.com. If you liked it, please share this out with others you think may like it. Until next time.